Story 1. Aida for going bridezilla after my bridesmaid spilled wine on my wedding dress? I, 27F, got married a month ago. My dress was this long, lacy gown that my mom wore at her wedding. My mom passed away about 2 years ago. Because the dress was so important to me, I had a big plan to keep it safe from any damages. I would only wear the dress at the wedding itself, and I would switch to a more casual dress for the reception. When I was wearing the dress, I wouldn't eat or drink anything except water, and I would stay inside at all times. I promise I'm not usually this crazy about cleanliness, but this was my mom's dress, and the thought of it being damaged broke my heart. But I also knew I wanted to wear it when I got married to have a piece of her with me. She adored this dress and always dreamed I would wear it. My bridesmaids knew very well about my particularities with the dress. I had a room above the venue, where I was getting ready. My dress was hanging in a safe place in the room. On the day of the wedding, I went down to check on something for the wedding, leaving my bridesmaids in the room. Here's what happened as they told it to me. They opened a bottle of Pinot Noir, my favorite, as a celebration. They poured themselves glasses and began to walk around checking out the room. One of my bridesmaids, Anna, 27F, wanted to get a closer look at my dress. She got really close to it and she started touching the lace. Somehow her hand holding the wine glass slipped and wine spilled all over the bottom of the dress. When I came upstairs, they told me what happened and I started sobbing. My maid of honor called several professional cleaners and they said there was no way they could get the dress in before the wedding. They told us ways to save the dress until we could get it into them. So my MOH started doing that. After that call, I became extremely angry. I asked Anna what the hell she was doing holding red wine so close to my dress when she knew how careful I was being. She dismissed it and said it wasn't such a big deal because I was planning to wear the dress, so it could have gotten damaged that way too. I couldn't believe she said that. I called her thoughtless and careless and stupid. I told her that she was no longer part of the wedding and that I wanted her to leave. She left, and neither of us have reached out to the other since. I got married in the dress I had planned to wear for the reception, and I was heartbroken not to be wearing my mom's dress. After the wedding, my bridesmaids joked that I was a bridezilla for kicking Anna out after she made an honest mistake. I absolutely don't think I'm the AH or a bridezilla because Anna's reaction was so horrible and insincere. But I wanted to get the story off my chest and ask some people who might be more impartial. Aita?
In my opinion, she is not an asshole. What do you think? Comment below.
Story 2. Ada for turning into a bridezilla at my fiancé and Mill over the dress my daughter will wear to our wedding. I'm getting married in September. It's been postponed twice already because of COVID. Friction has developed between myself and MIL over wedding plans. So used to complain about how controlling/overbearing she is, but has now sided with her. We were getting married last year, but had to cancel because of lockdown. We're from UK. It was a small wedding in Italy, just 16 guests and having a bigger party when we got home. I didn't want a big wedding, so this was my idea of perfection, and I thought my fiancé's too. He brought up eloping way before I said anything. I wanted to make sure parents and friends were there, but he wasn't fussed about anyone being there. Over a year, that version of the wedding was canceled a second time. Mill moved down the road and I got pregnant. Since Mill moved, she's been hell. I had the baby prematurely in Dec. She is fine, but while still in hospital, Mill told me all the things I'd done wrong during the pregnancy that caused the premature birth. She visits all the time unannounced. I have begged her to at least call ahead and does things with baby. I ask her not to, but she knows best. Also told us she was glad our wedding had been canceled as we were making a big mistake, and we were really going to regret it if we didn't have a proper wedding. I tried to laugh about it after with So saying we're doing what we want, but he had done a full 180 on what he wanted. Mill has completely hijacked planning our September wedding. It's now a lot more your traditional, over-the-top, big white wedding. It probably would be the perfect wedding for someone else, but it really isn't what I wanted. The one thing I was adamant on was that I was making my wedding dress and baby's dress. I used to be a bespoke wedding dress designer, so it's an area I'm pretty talented in. I've already made my own dress and designed babies, mocked it up, but waiting closer to the time to physically make it so the size is right. It's been very clear this was the plan, so when MIL came to us gushing about the dress she just got baby to wear for wedding, I was livid. I said, take it back, I'm making the dress. She said I should be grateful she'd been proactive when I hadn't. That baby would probably have nothing to wear on the day if it was left to me. She said it cost her a lot of money and won't be able to return it. I left and fiancé told me she broke down crying and was inconsolable. After, he shouted at me for treating his mom like that and told me how I was turning into a bridezilla. I asked for him to support me on this one thing as I was giving up everything else. He said that I haven't even made the dress, so what does it matter if she wears something else? I asked him to tell me the truth on if he even wanted this wedding, as it was a hell of a lot of money to just throw at a party we were both going to hate. He couldn't give me a straight answer. Ada.
I think she is not an asshole. What do you think? Comment below.
Story 3. Ida for calling my brother's fiancé an entitled bridezilla for name-dropping me during wedding planning. My 28F brother JC, 35M, proposed to hit GF Issy, 29F, over the summer. The background to this whole drama is that I plan a lot of parties, and earlier this year I planned the wedding of my boyfriend's sister and was a bridesmaid. I am not a professional. I just have a good grasp of aesthetics and know a lot of people in the local area, so my friends ask, or I offer to help with party event planning sometimes. About 6 weeks ago, I got a call from Izzy asking me to be her maid of honor. I was very surprised because we don't each other well, and my calendar in the early part of the year is so hectic I really don't have time. I was upfront with her about this, telling her how flattered I was and that I would be happy to be a bridesmaid if she wanted, but I just wasn't able to take on maid of honor responsibilities. Issy was annoyed about this and admitted she had expected that I would accept being maid of honor and offer to plan the wedding with her, since I had for my cousin previously and BFF's sister. I said again that if she wanted me to be a bridesmaid, I'd happily do that, but I wasn't going to plan her wedding or associated events. She begrudgingly accepted this, but I had a feeling when it came time to officially have bridesmaid, I wouldn't be one, which is fine. JC never brought this up, so I thought no more about it. A couple of days ago, I got a call from the event coordinator of a hotel I've used for events in the past. This person had questions about my wedding requirements. I was confused, obviously. It transpired that Issy had called this hotel and used my name to get an appointment with the coordinator, and then further dropped my name to try to secure a sizable discount, saying that I was involved in planning the wedding. I was mortified. On a hunch, I called the owner of the restaurant where I held my parents' anniversary party to ask if he'd had any contact about an event I'm planning. He had. Again, Issy had called about hosting a bridal shower, again asking for a discount based on my name. I called Issy and said she had a nerve to be touting my name around, embarrassing me in front of people I know and work with, all without my knowledge. We argued. Issy said it shouldn't have been a big deal to mention me since I wouldn't help her. It's the least I could do, to which I said, not when you try to lowball my contacts and don't even ask me if I'm okay with you using me as a contact. The argument went on until I called her an entitled bridezilla and hung up. JC says I shouldn't have said that to her and just let the venues tell her no on their own, but I think it's nuts that she feels entitled to use my name and then run it through the mud with people who have really helped me in the past. AI to here?
I think she is not an asshole. What do you think? Comment below.
Story 4. Aita for calling my Sil to be a bridezilla to her face. My older brother is getting married in September. His fiancée isn't exactly my favorite person. She was 3 years ahead of me at school, and while I hesitate to call it bullying because it wasn't that serious, she and her friends definitely gave me a rough time throughout school, and needless to say, I've always kind of resented her a bit. She's been super stressy about the wedding, to an extent that I feel is unnecessary. She'll stomp her feet and pout over the slightest thing, from the venue not having the exact right shade of off-white for the seat covers, to my brother suggesting a different flavor of cake to the one she picked out. He slept in the guest room for 3 nights after that one. Like I said, to me it all seems very unnecessary and over the top, but for the sake of keeping the peace I've kept quiet thus far. 2 days ago, however, I'd kinda had enough. Our cousin is also getting married in 2 weeks, and my little sister is being bridesmaid at both. Sil was already pissed that cousin's wedding is so close to hers, even though cousin's was booked first, but she absolutely lost it when my sister showed her the bridesmaids' dresses for cousin's wedding. You see, they're blue, and Sil wanted her bridesmaids to wear blue. She went off on this huge rant about how cousin is trying to upstage her and stealing all of her ideas. Mind you, cousin's bridesmaids' dresses are a super deep royal blue, and the ones Esile was considering are a very pale baby blue, as well as being a completely different style. Maybe I'm just being a fashion-ignorant man, but I really don't see why they can't both have bridesmaids in blue, especially when the dresses are so different. Anyway, when SIL stopped ranting and calling our cousin every name under the sun, I kind of rolled my eyes and went, "They're just dresses. No need to go all bridezilla about it." As you can imagine, she didn't like that. She stormed out of my mom's house in a huff, sent me a number of abusive texts, and has been ranting about me to my brother and trying to convince him to drop me as a groomsman ever since. He's pissed too, because now he's getting an earful because of me. My sister says I could have said it better, and my mom keeps telling me that I'm being insensitive and that planning a wedding is super stressful for a bride, so I should be more considerate about why she's so highly strung at the moment. I honestly don't see what I did wrong, but maybe you lot as an objective third party can give me some insight. So am I the asshole?
I think he is not an asshole. What do you think? Comment below.
Story 5. Ida for standing my ground and letting a friendship end because of a bridezilla. I, 30 female, attended a friend's wedding where my fiancé was a groomsman. The bride and I became close during her wedding planning, talking daily and sharing details. She initially asked me to be a bridesmaid, retracted the offer, asked again, and then retracted it again. As the wedding approached, she relied on me for emotional support, particularly about issues with her maid of honor, who was problematic and almost got kicked out. Fast forward to the wedding weekend. For context, the Airbnb to the venue is 1 hour, and the bride's house is in the middle. We all stayed in an Airbnb at the bride's request. She asked me to pick up the wedding cake, which was an hour from the Airbnb and 2 hours from the venue. I agreed. Later, I was asked to pick up supplies from her house and bring them to the Airbnb, which I also did. While the bridal party was at rehearsal, me and a friend, Kayla, were tasked with setting up a Mamma Mia night for the bride after one bridesmaid ran out of time. However, although Kayla and I were initially told we were invited, when it started, the MOH slammed the door on us, saying it was for bridesmaids only. One bridesmaid, Amanda, started making advances toward my fiancé and other married men, saying she didn't care if they were married. Jamie, another friend, overheard this and told Kayla and me. Saturday, wedding day. I helped decorate the bridal suite, which another bridesmaid failed to do. I also steamed 6 groomsmen suits since I was the only one with a steamer and they were all horribly wrinkled. The wedding was poorly organized. No non-alcoholic drinks except water, reused unrinsed cups, and insufficient food, dry cold pasta. The bride ignored Kayla, Jamie, and me the entire time. After the wedding, Amanda continued to make advances. Sunday, I do. BBQ, the bride confronted me in the bathroom. I explained everything, but she dismissed it as a miscommunication. When Amanda continued her inappropriate behavior, I warned the bride I would handle it. Amanda's advances continued, even spreading her legs in front of the men. Many people, including the groom's family and friends, noticed Amanda's behavior and asked us about it. Later, Amanda boxed me in when I tried to talk to my fiancé, exaggerating her reaction when I bumped her with my elbow, throwing herself onto the couch, spreading her legs in the air, all while in a dress. The bride cracked and started yelling and screaming at everyone. Monday, we'd had enough. The bride was yelling at everyone to clean the Airbnb. Kayla, Jamie, and I decided we were done, packed up, didn't help, and waited to say goodbye. The bride ignored my attempt to say goodbye and subsequently blocked us on social media. I was used and taken advantage of throughout this entire friendship, never thanked for everything I did that weekend. My fiancé talked to the groom, and apparently he understands and agrees, but I still haven't gotten an apology from the groom or bride. In the end, the joke is on me. The groom is a groomsman at my wedding, and we still have to invite her. Ida?
I think she is not an asshole. What do you think? Comment below. Subscribe for more interesting stories.